The Scottish Tories have unveiled Jackson Carlo as their new leader, a man who has pledged to take down First Minister Nicola Sturgeon in next year's election. The party will be a clear alternative to Ms Sturgeon and her morally politically bankrupt Scottish government. When Scots head to the polls in May, Mr Carlo said. He had been acting leader of the party since Ruth Davidson stepped down last year, and on Friday he was elected to lead the group. Speaking in January about his vision for the party, Mr Carlo said, "I have spent the last 18 months taking on Nicola Sturgeon. I am asking you now to let me spend the next 18 months taking her down." Nationalist Ms Sturgeon hit back at his tough man talk, insisting she did not feel intimidated by the prospect of him as leader of her party's main rival. Speaking after the result of the Scottish Tory leadership contest was announced on Friday, Mr Carlo insisted the Scottish National Party (SNP) are failing Scottish voters after 13 years in office. He said the SNP are there to be replaced, and I am determined Scottish Conservatives will do that. Ms Davidson congratulated her colleague on landing the top job, promising she will give her absolute and unwavering support in the decision he takes in order to get us fighting fit for next May. Mr Carlo won the backing of 4,917 Tory party members in Scotland in the leadership contest. He finished comfortably ahead of Social Security spokeswoman Michelle Ballantyne's 1,581 votes. Almost 60% of the party's 10,911 eligible electors cast their vote in the contest. Mr Carlo, who served as deputy leader to Ms Davidson, insisted he had a clear mandate from the party to make the changes required to lead us into the election next year. He added, "This is not about asking the people of Scotland to re-elect us as a strong opposition, this is about offering the people of Scotland a clear alternative to the SNP and then fighting all the way to polling day next year to provide them with an alternative." Mr Carlo will start making appointments to his top team immediately, and is also scheduled to speak to Boris Johnson on Friday afternoon. He made clear the Scottish Tories will change further and for the better, with new faces and new thinking. As part of that, he pledged to push ahead with a review of party policies, which could see the Tories U-turn on their opposition to free higher education in Scotland. Another possibility would be the party considering their position on the two-child cap brought in by the Conservatives at Westminster on some welfare payments. After the policy review, Mr Carlo said he will then ask the people of Scotland to elect a Scottish Conservative government as the largest party at Holyrood in 2021. He added, "In those circumstances I would hope to be the First Minister delivering on that alternative programme. The result today demonstrates I have the clear confidence of the party." Quote, "I have a bigger share of the vote than Boris Johnson achieved in his leadership election, I have a bigger share of the vote than Ruth Davidson achieved, a bigger share of the vote than David Cameron achieved in any of the previous Conservative Party leadership elections. So I have a clear mandate from the party in Scotland now to make the changes required to lead us into the election next year." SNP Deputy Leader Keith Brown said, "The big test for Mr Carlo will be whether he will stand up for Scotland's interests against Boris Johnson. He used to say that Boris Johnson wasn't fit to be Prime Minister. He was right, but then he campaigned for precisely that. Just as they went from Remainers to hard Brexiteers, it's obvious that the Scottish Tories will continue to parrot whatever line they're handed down from Westminster."